Good afternoon, Miss. I must say thank you for agreeing to participate in this interview. I am currently conducting a survey as part of an assignment, to examine teachers' reaction to the recent curriculum change in social studies at early childhood and at the primary level in Guyana. The purpose of this interview is to gather your view and experience regarding these changes, including the content, teaching methods, assessment strategies, and any challenges you may have encountered. Your response will be used strictly for academic purposes only. Yes, Miss, so you can go right ahead, state your name, your gender, which class you attached to, and how many years you have been teaching.
Thank you. I am Natasha Ramru. I am female. I am presently at grade 2 and I have been teaching for the past 17 plus years.
Okay, Miss. Thank you. There are a few questions I want to ask. My first question is, what changes have you noticed in the social studies curriculum?
Comparing the past curriculum to this one?
Yes, compared to.
So this one is more in-depth and the content is more relevant to the Guyanese population.
Okay. So what are some changes you have observed in the teaching method or activities, learning activities?
Okay, I like how the new curriculum gives that instructional strategy so that we can, work with that. That suggestion is good. We can also modify. It has changed drastically when you compare the curriculum from 2021 because that was just teacher reading, discussing, and highlighting. Comparing to this one is more child friendly. It's more specific, more detailed, and it provides a variety of ways in which the content can be delivered.
Okay. So have there been any changes in the learning resources provided? Can you please explain?
Resources as in what we would give the
children.
Yes, now we have to get things that are relevant, things that are relating to the content, relating to the children. For instance, if we're talking special occasions, we have the children bringing pictures of their families celebrating birthdays, even weddings, anniversaries, celebrating the birth of a child, and so on. So we have the resources are more, let me say, hands-on, more suitable. They can make association to their real life experiences.
Okay, Miss. And can you state how have the assessment strategies changed in the new curriculum compared to the whole curriculum when it comes to assessment?
Okay, in the old curriculum it was like answering questions, right? Whereas in the new curriculum there is a variety of ways in which you can evaluate learning. Whether it's building the table, completing table, we have the exit slips, exit forms, which they are all ways of evaluating. The new curriculum provides a variety of ways in which we as teachers can evaluate the content.
Okay, Miss. So do you think the new social studies content is relevant to students lives in Guyana? And why do you think so?
Yes, it is relevant. Why do I think it's relevant? The content makes it relevant because if we're saying economic activity, it speaks to Guyana indirectly. If we're talking climate, it speaks to the climatic conditions of Guyana. If we're talking changes in the past and present, the information that's presented in the curriculum guide, it's relevant to the changes Guyana would have had from past to its present stage or state.
So how effective are the new assessment method in measuring students' understanding? How effective is it?
They are effective. Let's say we have some of the exit forms where students have to write what they would have learned or state one thing they would have learned. At least that will help us to evaluate, to know that what they really know, rather than the oral questioning where some students would just repeat what their friends would have mentioned.
Okay. Are there any challenges you face while using this new assessment method?
Not necessarily. Maybe one would be is replicating the tables, as in, I mean, in the guide or in the curriculum, they are small, so we'd have to retype and put it to a size that the children can actually fill in the information, one that's legible where they can see the words and read and so on. So just having those worksheets available. A suggestion could have been at the back of the curriculum, probably have those tables printed at a size that the learners can actually use there. So as a teacher, we can just go, the worksheet is there, we print, we replicate.
Okay, did you receive any training to the implementation to the new curriculum?
Yes, but that was, yes. I was going to say literacy only, but I remember it would have covered all 4 core areas.
What type of training did you receive? Was it a workshop, online session? What was it?
Workshops. There was a series of workshops. I think it lasted for a week. So we had training.
Do you feel the training was adequate?
At the initial stage, yes, because we needed to be introduced to it. However, there can be follow-up. Well, I would welcome follow-up sessions.
What additional support or training would help you implement the curriculum more effectively?
As I suggested, having those worksheets at a size that we can just replicate, and so that students can input their information. Additionally, too, like for instance, if we're going to talk about using maps and globes, at least the provision of those.
Okay. So do you think there's any other teacher who has the same resistance to the curriculum change?
Yes, because right now, if we look at the, I don't really have a resistance, I have an acceptance, but if we look at it, right, the curriculum is heavy. It is content loaded. So what you will find happening is that in grade 1, let's say I'm teaching at grade 1, or right now, the curriculum for grade 2, it is so heavy that I would not finish all those areas within the year. So I know that they say what you haven't completed in grade 2, you follow up in grade 3. However, the content is there, so if we do that, there is always like a gap where you're being unable to cover the entire curriculum.
Perfect. So overall, what is your opinion of the new social studies curriculum?
Alright, so I think it's a commendable thing, a good initiative, meaning that the content is relevant and applicable to the Guyanese classroom. So that's a pro. On the contrary, it is a bit too overloaded, so we can't cover all of it.
Okay, so what improvement would you suggest for that curriculum?
So like there is the workbook. We would have received a social studies textbook with the information that's relevant to the curriculum. Maybe the provision of a workbook as well.
Okay, Miss. So I must say thank you for your time, and your information was very informative, and I must say that I learned something.
You're welcome.